So hey, good afternoon everyone. I'm Henrique and this is Gabriel. So we're gonna talk a little about how we drove the evolution of Banco Original's financial services. So what we're talking about today? We're going to introduce you what Banco Original is. We're gonna talk about some challenges of the Brazil banking scenario, talk a little more detail about PIX, and about our challenges and the solution path we took. So, my name is Henrique, I'm Brazilian, and yes, I love soccer, if anyone is wondering. It's a pretty reliable stereotype, but yeah, I'm 26. I worked as a software engineer, an architect, more recently as a DevOps manager, and now as a tech manager.
Hello everybody, my name is Gabriel. Yes, I do love soccer too. It's kind of Brazilian thing, right? I think we also play soccer very good, most of us. I'm 31 and I'm solution specialist and designer at Red Hat. We've been through a couple of journeys with Banco Original. So a pleasure to be here today to talk a little bit about PIX. Raise your hand if you know PIX. No? You do, because you're Brazilian. You do? Okay. So yes, we are going to talk about a lot about financial services. But first, Henrique is going to introduce a little bit more about digital banking and Banco Original, right?
Yeah, so let me ask you a question too. Which one of you know or ever heard about digital banking? I don't know if it's a thing here in the US. Okay, like almost everyone, that's nice. So Banco Original we are the first digital bank in Brazil. So we have a lot of challenges, even some laws had to be changed so we could run, because in Brazil we had like old traditional banking, you have to be there to open an account. The manager needed to see you, that you're a real person and you're yourself. So we started 100% digital with all these groundbreaking technology, like even open an account with facial recognition. Remember, I'm talking about 2016. I think in the US it was more common, but we're talking about Brazil, so facial, everything comes here first, okay? So it wasn't a thing. And so we operated for 3 years with external tech partners until in 2019, the bank decided to internalize every development department and to get all the know-how. And today we have a large set of products and about 10 million running open accounts.
Yeah, and if I could summarize it, when Banco Original introduced themselves in the Brazil market, was kind of common to have marketing campaigns saying, you don't have to go to the branch agents to have some kind of service or to do an operation. And that's kind of involved also with a lot of regulations and new services that were pushed by the Central Bank of Brazil, such as the real-time payments that was introduced in 2019. That's what we call as PIX, right, Henrique?
Yeah. So let's talk more about PIX. We're going to give some details of this just to give you all an overview. So PIX is the Brazilian real-time or instant payment. It was created by the Brazilian Central Bank, we call it Bacen. And it was launched in 2020, and it made it possible for all of us to transfer money within a couple of seconds. So it brought a lot of revolution to the market. You can relate, I think, with PayPal, but free and for not every bank, not only banks, so any financial institution can participate here in this environment, and it brought a lot of new competitiveness to the market, a lot of innovations, and a lot of new products and possibilities of the banks and financial institutions could take advantage of it.
Yep. Yes, as Henrique said, it was very transformative service that was introduced, even comparing to the other services, transaction services that we had that were not 24/7 available. So PIX also not only needed different security parameters as comparing to the other ones, but also a lot of new technical challenges that came with these new services.
Yes, just to give a quick example, so if I needed to transfer, like I need to pay a coffee for Gabriel, I just would type his key, the amount I need to be transferred, and he will receive the money within 10 seconds. So what's a key? A key it's a number that identifies his account, so it can be his social security number, his cell phone, his email, or even a random key. And just a little more detail how it works in the background. So when I type the key and the amount, when I hit transfer, my bank or my financial app will connect with this addressing database we call SPI. So SPI is the addressing database that contains all information to know for which account I have to transfer the money to. And on the other side, his financial app or his bank app will receive the money, and he will have the account, the money in his account. So an SPI, as I said, is the addressing database, and it has two types of participants, direct and indirect participant. A direct participant, it's mainly a bank, a regulated bank, but only banks and regulated banks can talk with the SPI, can communicate. But we don't exclude all of the rest of the financial apps or even a fintech or anything. So they're called an indirect participant. They can also use Pix, but through direct participants with partnerships and all of that. And we brought some numbers just for you to have an idea. So today we have about 500 million keys for all of Brazilian people, and 146 million users, considering Brazil has, I think, 220 million people, so it's almost everyone using Pix. And we have an average daily of 80 million reais transaction in Pix transactions. Okay.
And increasing, right?
It's increasing every day. So I only got from 2023. So, and last month, today it must be bigger. So, and it also has some requirements for participants. Banco Original is a participant. It has to be fast. So as we said, transactions must be completed within 10 seconds. It has to be available. It is a 24/7 service. I don't know if in the US if you have a lot of 24/7 services. It has to be secure, so it is for everyone. So you have to have security, and the security is increasing day by day here. They implementing new rules and regulations. It has to be integrated. So as we said, it's not only for banks, for everyone. So every participant must be integrated. It has to be versatile. So it has a lot of features that in the agenda, and a lot of new features emerging every day. And it has to be cheap. It's free for everyone. The companies may pay depending on the bank service they have, but mainly for individuals is free.
So and that being said, it's kind of like to frame the situation, right? Because Brazil, for a long time, we had like a couple of banks running the whole system, and these are banks that, despite they have like technical advancement and enhancement as well, Banco Original is kind of different because they emerged with like this new culture that was more ready to be one of the main proponents of these systems, right? So they pushed this agenda with the other banks as well. And they started like to develop these also integrating other participants in the systems to use the real-time payments, right?
Yeah, so with all of that, all of new challenges emerged, and that's where we started our OpenShift and Red Hat partnership. So just to give an idea, it is simple to use, but it is very complex in the background. So this is a summary of our architecture. So we have a hybrid environment, so we have a lot of things in on-premises environment and some things on the cloud environment using only AWS today. On the on-premises environment, just for PIX, we have over 70 components among databases, microservices, and any other thing. And it communicates with the cloud environment, and there we have over 100 components. And the cloud environment communicates with our central bank's infrastructure. We have OpenShift managing all of these microservices and components on our on-premises environment. So what's our tech timeline, Banco Original's tech timeline? As I said, we started with legacy systems. It wasn't developed by us, and we decided to internalize everything. At some point, we started using microservices and a distributed architecture. So we don't have a lot of monoliths running right now. I think it's a really common journey. After that, you start containerizing. We saw a lot of use cases talking about that today. And everything has to be managed, so we at some point, we started using OpenShift to have all of this managed and reliable. And our challenge with PIX and our evolution was we have thousands of microservices, so we have to worry about deployment, security, reliability. Remember, we are a bank, so everything has to be secure and reliable for our customers. And we have hundreds of developers, so we have to worry about how the abstraction of the new tools we implement would be for them. It has to be easy to deploy, and they have to have reliability to develop. Essentially, they have only to worry about developing stuff and not everything else. And lots of new products, so we have to have time to market, and all of that has to be available.
And Henrique, I think that you're going to introduce us a little bit about like what was the options that you guys had, but also I remember we doing some sessions with you to talk about DevOps, site reliability engineering, and a lot of cultural topics, right? To bring not only like the technological side, but also like to talk about methodologies and also culture, and this kind of like influenced your choice to the platform OpenShift, right?
Yeah, so what we analyzed was, I think, the most common path. So, we have containers, so we have to manage all that. Let's use Kubernetes. But remember, again, we are a bank, so we have to worry about some things. So how's the configuration of that would be? So we have hundreds of developers, our hybrid environment, how we would do that. How will we have image security? So everyone knows like Log4j problem and everything like that. So how would we have that? And the knowledge curve. So we have a lot of developers. Do we have to make all of them learn about Kubernetes, like a new implemented tool? And what about support? I think mainly that's what took us to look at OpenShift. And all of those questions were answered. So with OpenShift, we saw we had easy configuration. So we don't have to worry about a lot of stuff to configure and have an environment up and running and all managed. We had image security, so with ACS, for example, that guarantees a lot of things for us. And low knowledge curve, because we didn't have to worry we didn't have to teach our developers how to use Kubernetes, or they have to worry about the infrastructure they deploy and how will they deploy. So we didn't have to worry about that. And more importantly for us, we had support. So as Gabriel said, a lot of talks, a lot of workshops they did. It helped us and all the developers a lot. And we have a lot, I think we can say we have a new culture today, a distributed architectural culture. So it really helped us a lot. Just some numbers to summarize. So only for PIX, we have about 10K pods. We process about 1 million PIX transactions a day with 99.9 uptime. And this number is growing, but we had a peak of 130 transactions per second. So PIX transactions processed at the same second.
I actually remember when we met because it was during a workshop that we created for the infrastructure team.
Yeah.
And I was very surprised that the tech lead from the architecture team was there, like to kind of be involved with like these kind of new technology and platform that was being available in Banco Original. And I remember when talking to you, like that you had this idea for doing kind of like a season of episodes of presentations, and we spread the message of OpenShift, like to how can we grab more developers to be introduced to the platform and also to use it. And what we saw was a very kind of like people being interested to use it because it was a kind of a bridge between like, I can make like development teams more they can self-manage their environments, and also I can control it as an operational side, right?
Yeah. So I think it's very important that he mentioned the architecture team and the infrastructure team were always very close. So that was a very big difference for us to have an OpenShift, not only looking to infrastructure, but the architecture team looking at worrying about patterns and about how developers will use, how we will have reliable and connected solutions, secure solutions also. So it really helped us a lot and change our culture. So with all the challenges PIX brought, I didn't mention, but it's very important. So it was announced in about 2019 that all the banks had to be implemented in production in 2020. So it's a very short period of time, and we have to run.
You guys complained a lot to the bank.
Yeah. But as the first digital bank, we participated a lot in the construction and in all the insights in PIX with Bacen. They called the digital banks and some other banks to participate on that. So it was a very interesting scenario, and it keeps evolving. So I got some highlights of the agenda. So they are building something so we can have international PIX. So I think in a short time we can transfer, like make PIX from the Brazil to the US. We're going to use it with direct debit, with assets, and most important, I think the thing that brings the most innovative solutions, payment API. So we have this API open for everyone to use. Every company, every fintech startup will be able to use or to be involved in PIX.
And if you can tell us a little bit more, and we speak every day like about cloud and also security, right? And like multi-cluster management, are those steps that are going to be followed by Banco Original in the next years, right? Next months probably.
Yeah. So we use a lot of ACS as I mentioned, and we are using a lot of ACM too, ACM features. And as we are a hybrid environment, so ACM features, we are looking forward to it because it's helping us to manage all of that infrastructure. So I only showed you the infrastructure and the architecture overview of PIX. So we have a lot of other projects that are really similar architecture and all managed by OpenShift using ACM features and ACS features. And so that's it. Thank you very much for listening to us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you.